Psalm 29 from the NIV translation. Ascribe to the Lord, O mighty ones. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendour of his holiness. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The glory of God thunders, and the Lord thunders over the mighty waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is majestic. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. The Lord breaks in pieces the cedars of Lebanon. He makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Sirion like a young wild ox. The voice of the Lord strikes with flashes of lightning. The voice of the Lord shakes the desert. The Lord shakes the desert of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord twists the oaks and strips the forests bare. And in his temple all cry, Glory. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord is enthroned as King forever. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. The imagery of thunderstorms is quite a powerful one. Of course, David's not talking about a literal thunderstorm, but this is a poetic metaphor of God's voice. All powerful, amazing, emotional. I don't know what comes to your mind when you think of thunderstorms, but for me, it evokes memories of being a young boy out at my great uncle's farm out in Gippsland, South Leongatha, of lying there during thunderstorms rolling through the Gippsland hills, seeing through the blinds the flashes of lightning lighting up the night sky, the loud clapping of thunder, and then hearing the heavy rain on the tin roof of the old farmhouse. As a young boy, I had a certain amount of fear, but also comfort as those storms would roll through as my brother and I were out visiting my great uncle and doing work on the farm during school holidays. There was a real sense of the power that was outside of the walls. But there was also a great sense of security of being inside this solid house, being in my nice warm bed, and the comfort of knowing that my brother was just there and that my great uncle was just down the hallway. But David equates the voice of God with this loud thunder. We get a great sense of the majesty and the power that is God's voice. It is, of course, with his voice that he creates the world. So often the voice of God is a way of the writers of the Bible expressing God's power, God's authority, God's creativity, his majesty. And that's what David is evoking here. For us to get this sense of who God is and how powerful God is. And yet, we see when God talks to Elijah in 1 Kings, it is not through nature, it's not through wind, it's not through fire, but it is a small, still voice which Elijah hears God speak. I think if we take Elijah's experience and what David is pushing through here in this psalm, the comforting thing for us, the encouraging thing for us, is that God is speaking, whether it's in a thunderous, loud, powerful voice, or whether it's in a soft, still, small voice. He wants to get our attention, and he wants us to listen to him. He wants us to declare glory to his name, to give him the honour of who he is. The other great thing about this psalm is we get this incredible picture of God's power and majesty, as I've said. But then David finishes the psalm with a very intimate, personal thing, that this all-powerful, almighty God is not separate to his creation, to the people of whom he has created, which he is well pleased. But David finishes the psalm with these words: The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. In the midst of the storm, we are strengthened and we are given his peace. Just as a young boy lying in that bed beside the window, watching the lightning, hearing the thunder, and hearing the rain on the roof. In the midst of all of that power and majesty of nature, I felt comfort. In the same way, even though God is all-powerful and almighty, we too can know comfort because of his presence in our lives and the fact that he loves us. That's right, the God of the universe, the creator and sustainer of all things, loves us. We are his people. I pray that each and every day you may know the blessing of what it is to be God's people, that you may know his strengthening and you may know his peace. Amen.